were to ask me which one I think has a great story, a great writer, great acting, great effects, a great budget, and great music, I'd say Voyage of the Damned is that episode. Recently I thought Moffat was trying to mix popular classic stories into his specials, but then I realized Russell T Davies did the same thing with this episode. But to me, this is one of my favorites. Once again, following the events of Series 3, the Doctor discovers that on Christmas Eve, a spaceship shaped and entitled exactly like the Titanic carries a population of planet Stowe in course with Earth. However, much like the actual disaster, the spacecraft comes into an apocalyptic collision course with a host of killer robot angels and an evil severed head mastermind. Just another Christmas for the 10th Doctor. The special is brilliant, the story is brilliant, the characters are brilliant, the effects, holy hell, they are brilliant! This is probably one of the highest budget episodes in all of Doctor Who history. I can still remember seeing the very first trailer of this special coming out, and what better way to watch it than in an actual cinema. Oh my gosh, did this trailer get me excited. Excited that I almost felt a little scared. David Tennant is the ultimate star of this special. While you will like the fun, dashing, handsome Doctor, there's a side of the Doctor which I don't think we ever got so much in the show. I think Trilby Mr. TARDIS said it best. David Tennant was at his best and the writers decided to grow some balls and take the character places where he had never been before. They pushed the character to the fringe and showed the actor at his best. And that's what this special does. Remember, in Runaway Bride, we get a glimpse of the Time Lord Fury, but it was not until halfway through Series 3, after a little bit of knowledge about the Time Lords for new Who fans, that we do get to see the real Time Lord Fury. And those of you who have seen this special, you really see the Doctor go through something you never thought the Doctor would do. Try to control life and death, which he himself said in Parting of the Ways, no one should have that power. And yet he tried doing so that he even wished someone who survived died instead of someone who was much more morally sound. I'm not a huge fan of Astrid Peth played by Kylie Minogue, but like Donna, she's meant to be a one-off character, so I thought she did okay. I mean, her character is nothing new. She's someone who wants to see the world, so she decides to join the Doctor. And while I will say I didn't really believe their relationship all the way through, but I'm not saying there weren't some good likable moments with the two. And aside from the Doctor and Astrid, we actually have ourselves a good list of supporting cast. Say what you will about them being stereotypes, the stereotypical jerk, the stereotypical old guy, there's the coward, the fat couple, the comic relief. I don't care. I really like these characters. They are all likable characters and I really cared about them. But the ones that we do lose in this special, I literally felt really destroyed by the choices. And the ones who do survive, you just wish them luck in the future. That's another thing this special does. It takes chances. On Christmas Day of all times. Sure, some people might say that they are using the same robots as the villains, except all they have to do is change the design and the outfit from Santas to angels, but honestly, the hosts are terrifying, with their blank golden face, with the hell black eyes, and the stiff mouth with a strange intense voice. I don't care what anyone else says to how ridiculous the dialogue is. Whenever they start to speak, you ought to keep your mouth shut. Although I will say using their halos as boomerangs is kind of ridiculous, but razor blade halos? Gulp. Now, one of the best things about this episode is this. You come into this episode expecting the same thing you'd see in an other Christmas special. But by the time the conflict begins, you have no idea how things are going to turn out. I'm not kidding. First time watching this, I had no idea what was going to happen. It's almost like they start a scene which we've seen before, but when we actually get moving, they switch it up on us. They take a different turn in every single second. Even the ending, which I will dare not spoil. I mean, yeah, they do save the day, but what they did with it? Wow, that's interesting. There is a major twist to the climax of this episode that I do not want to spoil. It's just a brilliant twist. Trust me, when you see it, you will be laughing your hats off. It's so ridiculous that it kind of works. Yeah, typical, but at the same time, it's a brilliant plan. What else do I need to say about this special? The visuals are great, the dialogue is great, the music is memorable. So after everything that I said about this special, you probably think I consider this a masterpiece. Not quite. As much as I love this story, there are a few things that do raise an eyebrow on my face. I enjoy watching the supporting characters, but there are a few which do kind of bug me. For example, there's the steward, which, what is this guy's deal? I get he's trying to keep everyone happy on their trip, but watching him throughout just makes him look like someone who's trying to get an easy buck. And for someone who is meant to keep everyone safe, he's not doing a good job when it comes to looking out the window to see some asteroids coming his way. There's also the ship's captain. I kind of understand where he's coming from, but from the moment I saw him at the very first scene, after the credits, I immediately knew what he was going to do. And yeah, as much as I appreciate Russell T Davies on what he was trying to do to tackle on such a dark and groundbreaking story, having a Christmas special involving the Titanic disaster might raise some controversy, which eventually this episode did have. Not just from a survivor of the original Titanic for having the premise be made into entertainment, but also from Catholic audiences only for one single shot. One shot. And I gotta say, after watching some reviews and films based around real life disasters, and how inappropriate or offensive they were, that's saying something. And there are some scenes or moments which either lead to nowhere or just kind of forgettable. I can give these a pass since they were meant to play a part in a future series. However, despite its problems which might be re-thought out in the future, this episode is brilliant. It's a great story with great writing, great characters, great music, it's just great. If I was to sit down and watch any of the Christmas specials, this is one that I wouldn't mind sitting through. This is easily the best Christmas special so far, even though there's nothing much Christmassy about it, but trust me, we'll get to that one later. So whether good ones or bad ones, this is definitely a Christmas special full of surprises.